Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Fine Cut podcast. Today we have Hayden White, and we also have a guest with us, Denholm Pepper, who also runs a blog called the Velvet Cinephile. Denholm, can you tell us a bit more about that, please?
Yeah, it's basically just an outlet where I get to talk BS about films. Hopefully spread some knowledge about films. It's mostly just film reviews and not many opinion pieces, although I occasionally do them, like essay type things. And when did I start it? I think it was like June 2018, something like that. So yeah, cheap, shameless plug there. Thank you, Jeff.
Going on 3 years on that.
Gonna see my traffic skyrocket now.
Yeah, with our, 4 subscribers.
Don't
Yeah,
matter.
4
All
subscribers.
that ad revenue. It's just gonna be like,
Oh,
well, we're looking for
rolling in it.
sponsors.
Yeah.
We're looking for sponsors.
I don't get. I've never had sponsors, but I do get ad revenue. But yeah.
Awesome.
Hence why I'm dressed like a multi-millionaire. You know what I mean?
Oh, mate, like, gotta hustle, innit?
Anyways, people, we need to discuss some stuff today.
Serious.
Film. Yeah, serious stuff today.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to ask the question straight away. Should films be censored?
You go first, Jeff. You're the host.
Oh, sorry. I thought that was a rhetorical question. It depends.
It is serious. He's got the pen. He's pointing at us.
Yeah, look, it's like a syringe as well. Look at that.
No, that's what I thought. I thought actually getting like a hypodermic needle.
Oh yeah. So it depends. Like, should things be outright banned? I would say it depends, but mostly no. But there is the reason why we have like ratings like 12, 15, 18 or that. I'll pass the baton on to Denholm. What do you think?
I guess looking at censorship holistically, it is there for a reason. Whether those reasons are honourable all the time is debatable. The only time I've ever really agreed with censorship, and it's a really specific example, is Fantasia, the film, the Disney film.
Yeah. I know about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in like one of the segments, they have like a centaur, and it's clearly like a very derogatory image of a black person, and that's in the original cut. And I think the versions now it's taken out, and because it's a film aimed at children, having such a outdated image would be less than desirable. Do you know what I mean? So that's an example. So that's like one example. I think the original print is still there, reserved in like in a vault somewhere. Do you know what I mean? So it's there for like what do they call it? Preservation purposes. Basically for film buffs like me who have nothing better to do with their time. So that's an example of positive censorship, I guess.
Yeah.
But then you get into situations like I'm trying to think of a good example where it's just very hyperbolic, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Do you know what I mean? Where there's like no shred of blood apart from one woman gets her finger pricked.
That was for real, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was one drop, Jeff. Don't get hysterical. Sorry, I didn't realize I was talking to Mary Whitehouse. But there's just one single drop of blood, but they act as if it's the most violent thing ever. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's censorship is by its nature reactionary, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There was some. I can't remember if Black Christmas came out before Texas Chainsaw Massacre or after.
It's same year, but I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. That had more violence than Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I can't remember if that one actually got banned. I imagine it did.
But the uproar wasn't as big.
No, because it was less known, I guess.
Yeah. Which is weird because they're both indie films. I guess
Yeah,
distribution. I don't know because I think Black Christmas Canadian or something.
I can't remember, to be honest with you. I do remember the remake that was shit, to say the least.
Yeah. There are two
Yeah.
remakes.
Oh yeah, there was one that came out recently. When I say recently, a few years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was awful.
yeah.
That was awful. That was dreadful.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, but
So,
he's saying that there's been like 7 Texas Chainsaw Massacres. So
well, yeah, absolutely. So, what do we think to these films like A Serbian Film? Do they deserve to be shown to people?
With consent?
Because A Serbian Film, like, obviously there's stuff like Martyrs and Hostel, which take things to, a new level in terms of torture, but A Serbian Film has like children like getting raped and stuff like that, just to put it. Well, that's not exactly PG rating, is it? A PG rating way of putting it, but
oh, what?
yeah.
I think
But
it's I think it's all to do with like artistic intent, isn't it? It's like I think that's how they sort of masquerade it. They say oh, it's art. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But they end up lumping it in with so the people behind a Serbian film will try and say it's in the same vein as like I don't know, some avant-garde movie from the 60s like a Louis Buñuel film when really it's just an excuse to show um graphic imagery. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
mm,
yeah. Well, I read an article about it because it turned, I think it was 11 years old or 12 years old. I can't remember when it came out, but apparently the director intended it to be about Serbian politics, which I find
Yeah,
completely, I
yeah,
find completely like bizarre,
yeah.
considering what what happens in the film. It must, obviously, that political theme must have got lost somewhere. I always thought it was more about exploiting the porn industry, to be honest. If it was anything about that,
mm.
If it is about Swedish politics, then they must have some really exciting news items over there. Do you know what I mean?
well, Serbian politics.
Serbian, sorry to Sweden. Apologies to our Swedish viewers.
We just got Brexit going on here, which
Yeah,
is at this point it's just redundant.
I
yeah.
can't believe I said Sweden, one of the nicest countries in the world, being associated with such muck.
Well, let's go with a dragon tattoo.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah. That that
yeah.
that that film has a similar kind of scene, doesn't it? Or very
Yeah, but
similar.
Yeah.
that's I don't know because it kind of becomes in talking about censorship, it ends up becoming a debate about art versus um exploitation. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's like when you say Girl Dragon Tattoo, we think, oh, great film. When we think of Serbian film, we think,
yeah,
Yeah.
so
It's sort of justified by its context. Like within the whole thing, there, whichever version you watch, the Swedish or the American version, it's just limited to 2 scenes. It's not like Lars
like a
von Trier
Serbian film.
film or a Serbian film where the the sexuality or the violence of it isn't the whole film, but there are two distinct moments which arguably make them pop a bit more. Where one is more of an exploitation of someone who is at a vulnerable point in society, and the other one is sort of the cathartic revenge of it, where
Yeah,
someone who has previously been like the victim is therefore shoving something up his her abuser's anus, which has its own connotations. In fact, I wrote a big paragraph about it in a dissertation pitch, and a lecturer commented saying that, "Oh yeah, this is a really good paragraph." This, so that. Yeah, thanks.
all right, Jeff. Ego in check.
But yeah, well, I do think a Serbian film does have a place. It's not obviously in poor taste, I guess. I suppose that's a subjective. That's my opinion. It is kind of in poor taste, but I don't think it should necessarily be censored. But I don't think it should be like exploited around the world. If you get what I mean, it shouldn't be like
exhibited.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like, I don't know. I think a lot of people just watch film to see how far the film goes, and that's what it seems to be about with these new exploitation films. They just want to like push the boundaries, see how far they can go with stuff.
What's that? Is it called the Streisand effect? Where no, it's where they like say you had a film that was reasonably violent, whatever that means, but there was like a massive uproar about it. People would go and see it because of the outrage.
Yeah.
So it ends up doing what they didn't intend it, what the like censors and that didn't intend it to do.
Well, that's what happened with. Oh, sorry, Dan, go on.
No. I was just saying the controversy creates more attention. That's all. Really.
Yeah, that's what happened with Raw, didn't it? That French film. Have any of you guys seen it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? It was like some kind of vegan horror film.
Vegan horror film. Yeah, it was like it's actually a coming of age story with cannibalism.
Yeah.
I actually I liked it, to be honest with you. Like I think it got a overreaction, if you get what I mean. Like I heard stories of people walking out during its like premiere and people throwing up and stuff like that. It wasn't even that bad in my opinion compared to other stuff I've seen.
That's usually what happens though.
Yeah.
That's usually how the story goes, is that the controversy, you like build it up in your mind, and then when you actually see it, you think, oh, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, and it's actually a good film. It's a shame that it's going to be like overshadowed by the reaction it got, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because it is good. It has some, stuff behind it. It's not just exploitation for the sake of it. It does have some gory stuff in it, but it's there for a reason. I know it's not for everybody. It's obviously not going to be for cannibalism's obviously not for everybody. But
unless you're Army Hammer.
But yeah, like the director did a Q&A, like this was a few years back, I think, and this woman was just like getting on the microphone, having a go at her while she was like answering other people's questions. I'm like, come on. If you wanna like get your question in there, ask it when it's your turn. But don't like ruin it for everybody else just because you didn't like it because of what it contains in it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I don't know. Was I supposed to disagree with that? I don't know.
Well, no. I don't know. It just frustrates me with that film because it's.
Thing is, like, what are they trying to achieve by doing that? Like, I don't know what the end game is for those
Well,
people who are inclined.
It can't be
Well-
unmade, can it? You can't just
well, no.
suck it out your eyeballs like seen in SpongeBob. Like once you see
Well-
it, you've seen it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you can't unsee it. Well, you can forget about it, I guess. But
You might want to unsee things, but
well, yeah, which is what happened with a Serbian film, I guess.
When did that come out?
I'm not sure.
Like 2010 or something.
Something like that.
to replace
2011.
bets,
What do you want me to? Do you want me to Google it now? And we'll.
I'll
Yeah.
say 2009.
I'm going to say 2010.
I'll say 2011, just so we've got different numbers here.
We do not endorse gambling on the Final Cut podcast.
2010.
Oh.
Oh.
But I just realised we didn't bet anything. I earn your respect.
Respect.
What about things that should be censored? We talk about should films be censored, but what in films we talk about? Oh yeah, they shouldn't be because of that. But what in a film should be censored?
To be honest, I can seldom recall a situation where I thought that shouldn't be there. The only thing that really makes me uncomfortable, because I'm able to because I know that film it's not real, it's dead. It's just it's a make believe image. So so I kind of like distance. I'm kind of detached from that stuff. I think the only time I ever get really uncomfortable is like stuff involving kids, and I don't know why. It's just like that recent film that was threatened to bring down the empire of Netflix. Was it Cuties or something?
Oh,
But the thing about Cuties was the intention of the film was like to be like an anti pedophile film, but because they had kids in the film, it ends up doing exactly the opposite of what it intended to do.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? Because the average person will watch it and just be like really uncomfortable, but the pedos will just be like, "Oh wow, kids." Do you know what I mean? So
yeah.
it's like, why?
Yeah.
It's kind of like making a film about animal cruelty, but in the process of making that film, you killed like a whole farm.
And
Yeah.
the kids were 11 years old, weren't they?
Yeah, they were like prepubescent and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not like one of these things where in Japan it's the age of consent is what, 14, and that's normal for that, but in Western society we're like, ugh.
Yeah, I guess it
So,
is a
Yeah.
cultural thing, isn't it? Yeah.
but in France the age of consent is 15, but
Yeah.
even then it's like, yikes, you know?
I think us here in the UK are just a bit more wary of it because of like, Operation Yewtree and stuff like that and paedophilia. But yeah, I think the only thing that really kind of get like troubles me in films is stuff involving kids, like violence and mass like orgies and stuff doesn't.
Oh,
You know
like
what I
in
mean?
It, they're in the book, which obviously a book, like,
in the sewers.
well, I've never read it, but I heard that there was
Yeah,
a
I know
scene
what
in
you
the
mean.
book, which,
It's not
okay,
in the
yeah,
film.
it's a bit, yeah, but in a book, no kid is actually being harmed, so there is a case for that. I personally don't
But
think
in the
it's.
book, it's just words on paper.
Mm,
In film, there is still people there, even though they're dead images, they're static. Do you know what I mean? It's
yeah, still events, and some of
yeah,
those images can carry
extra.
weight.
Yeah, yeah.
What about animals?
Yeah. I would. Obviously, we're going to get into Cannibal Holocaust in a bit, but yeah, that's one of those films I think should be censored just because of the on-screen animal deaths. which I know sounds like I'm being a bit bitchy here, but you know, I just don't agree with that kind of stuff being on screen.
You're not alone. Because talking about like different cultural attitudes, Old Boy, there was a scene where the protagonist took a bite out of a squid's head, and which was still alive and obviously like wriggling and that, and then just swallowed the squid whole. Which I know in that culture they have the live squid and they slice the tentacles, you know, just to keep it fresh. And I think with our Western sensibilities, we don't tend to like meat until it's been dead at least a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, okay, yeah, and then there's a cultural thing, but still, as a Western viewer, when I saw that, I was like, ugh. Whenever there's like an image of an animal being killed on screen, I always feel that. But excuse me, but that squid, there is the case to be made that that squid would have been eaten anyway and killed in a similar manner. So it's not as if that squid was especially procured for that. And at the same time, there was like 4 or 5 squids used because of different takes. So,
But the thing is, like, do they like serve alcohol in scenes that require it, or do they just give them apple juice? If that's the case, why use a real squid? Why go to the bother of getting like 5 live squids, keep them off camera just in case you need them? It's I don't know. It just seems dumb. But the whole animal thing, weirdly, maybe it's because I'm not like the biggest, most passionate animal lover in the world. It's never kind of bothered me as much as it should. That says more about me than anything else, really. It doesn't like upset me. So you know when they like kill an actual animal, I just think, why? I'm more bemused than I am angry. Do you know what I mean? Even recently, I watched Jeff will be a fan of this. Never Say Never Again with Sean Connery. The Bond.
Yeah.
And there's like a bit where they use like an actual horse. They escape from like this fortress on on horseback, and they actually threw the horse in the water, and I'm just like, why? And it's like, and they like threw and they had to like show that the horse was okay. Do you know what I mean? But I was just like, why did you throw the horse? Why not throw like a dummy and make it look funny? You know?
Yeah.
It's things like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Standards seem to have changed over the years, hasn't it? In, you know, what's acceptable in films and what's not.
Yeah.
But with Old Boy, obviously it's a bit more of a cultural difference because it's normal to them, isn't it? Like that's probably what actually happens in their restaurants over there.
Yeah.
Old Boy's a great film, by the way. We should point out.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Even though it's got some fucked up shit in it.
Yeah. What rating is Old Boy? That must be an 18, surely.
I believe so. I believe it is.
Yeah.
Oh,
I do find age ratings quite fascinating in a way, like I don't work for the BBFC or anything, obviously, but what does qualify as like a 12A or a 12? Do you know what I mean? It's like I find it quite interesting how they can determine what. I mean, obviously, I'm assuming they have like spreadsheets and what do they call them? Those like meetings that they have. I forget what they call them. Bureaucratic shit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's really bugging me what they call them. I can't remember. But anyway, yeah, I find age ratings quite fascinating.
Yeah, like with swearing, it must be easy because it's like, oh yeah, you said the F word 3 times. You said the C word ones are just like a tally chart of swears.
Yeah.
I know that rape is an 18.
Like instant 18.
Yeah, if it's like well, it can be if it depends how graphic it is, but say a girl dragon tattoo, that's the reason why
Yeah.
it's an 18.
Yeah.
If you show like dangerous activities, like say drug taking, suicidal methods, or like different types of violence that say you slice off somebody's arm with a lightsaber, that gets a U rating, but if you stab
Yeah.
someone with a kitchen knife, that gets a 15. The BBFC is I've read somewhere that it's more dependent on the probability of that violence happening. Like fancy violence gets
Yeah.
more lenient, and I
I'm
think
glad, I'm
horrors
glad,
and
yeah,
other.
I'm glad you
Well,
mentioned that actually, because I did always remember like when I'd learned about censorship before, I'd always thought like, hang on, in Star Wars is a U, but they like linger on this like disembodied arm that has blood, but because it's a fantastical world, it's fair game. It's same with like like Terminator 2. I feel
Yeah.
like I don't know what age rating Terminator 2 got in the UK, but that has a lot of violence. But because it's far out of the realms of reality, it gets away with it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think like over the past few years with I can't remember how long's 12A been out, because like there's obviously 12 and there's 12A.
I think wasn't the
2002.
the Spider-Man film, the with Tobey
Tobey
Maguire.
Maguire. Yeah.
I think that was the first 12A.
That 2002.
Yeah. I think because Tim Burton's Batman was I think they invented the 12 rating for Tim Burton's Batman.
Okay, was it not for Temple of Doom?
I thought it was for Batman.
Oh,
Wait,
You could you could be right. You could be right,
should we
and I
Google
could
it?
be wrong. Yes.
wait. I always thought Temple of Doom was like 15 because of the violence it
Yeah,
contains.
that's what I'm saying. Because there was like a gap between PG and 15.
Yeah.
So when it came to Batman, they created the 12. I've won one bet so far, so maybe I can win two.
Oh,
I swear it
you
was
were right.
Batman.
You were right. Because they had UPG 15-18.
Yeah,
They had that big gap in the middle. Oh, of course.
yeah. And so that was in
Kudos to you.
Yeah, so that was in 1989. So yeah, because but the thing is, like, would Tim Burton's Batman be a 12 today?
Probably.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I've not seen it
Probably,
for
yeah.
years. Do you know what I mean? But
Batman Returns is that a 15? Batman Returns. I can't
Yeah.
remember.
yeah, sure, yeah, that must be
Yeah,
because
because
Penguin makes a vagina joke, surely.
yeah,
You can
Randy.
make vagina jokes in 12s.
Well, he says
I mean,
he says in Batman Returns, I'd like to fill her void. It's like, you know,
Well, that's a bit
gross.
euphemistic, isn't
yeah,
it?
he bit somebody's nose, didn't he? In the film, he bit somebody's nose.
Oh yeah, and they like blood squelched out, didn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean, Christopher Walken, he pushes Michelle Pfeiffer out a window.
yeah,
Cats revive her because that's science.
they just like bite her hands or something like weird like that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like some of these sequels, like just take a complete U-turn on like the originals, because obviously you got Temple of Doom, you've got Batman Returns, that went from
I think.
like
Well, I think I'm sorry we're going on tangents about Tim Burton's Batman saga, but I think it's because like Batman made like huge books. They were just like, well, he clearly knows what he's doing, so we'll just give him carte blanche. And he's like, yeah, we're gonna make Penguin Moses. He's gonna be born in a basket down a river. Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman is like some kind of Egyptian cat goddess revived by cats and not just a burglar. And we're gonna
Yeah.
have Batman in the film for like 15 minutes.
Mm.
He's barely in that film. I swear the long
Yeah.
title of that film is like
Yeah.
Batman Returns every 15 minutes. Because
Yeah.
he shows up and you're just like, oh yeah, this is a Batman film. Yeah.
Hmm.
What about Raise of the Lost Ark at the end of face melting? That's PG.
It's not real, Jeff.
I know, but
And they're Nazis.
yeah, I know, and
I think it but there's nothing else prior to that. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
Is there? I mean the big dude gets with the repellers from the airplane, but you don't see it. You see like the blood off screen.
It's
That's
still
it.
PG.
Yeah, and I guess it's because it's at the end of the film and it's supernatural.
And it's the villains.
Yeah, yeah. But in like Temple of Doom, people are like taking hearts out their fucking chests and shit. I like Temple of Doom as well.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah,
I
yeah, I
really
like it.
like
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah. I
All
saw
three of them.
I saw like the documentary of the making of documentary, and Spielberg was talking about how like it got ravaged by critics, and I was just like, why? What film were they seeing?
Mm.
yeah. You sometimes have that film in like a franchise that's considered like the black sheep almost,
Yeah.
and I guess that's just the case. Like I think Die Hard 2 is kind of considered the black sheep of the Die Hard franchise. Well, actually, no, it's not going to be now because A Good Day to
Oh,
Die
yeah.
Hard came out.
Yeah. I don't remember anything about Die Hard 2. Nothing.
The airport,
No.
no.
All I remember from Die Hard 2 is I think there's like a massive goof. I think there's like a black man sat down. He reaches down and it cuts to a close up of a white man's hand. And it's like, oh, like instant Michael Jackson. And it's like, okay, that's all I remember. If that's all I can remember from your film, then I'm sorry.
Yeah, fair.
fair. So, what do we think to old censorship like the video nasties? What do we think to that?
Ooh. Yeah, I'm right to give a bit of context to that.
Yeah.
Well, what do we think it was wrong for films to be banned back in the 80s with the video nasties?
I think hindsight proves that it was, or not necessarily that they were wrong. It was just that they were focused on all the wrong areas, and the films they chose were just kind of. It was kind of a fruitless endeavor, really. But
Yeah. Just
Yeah,
giving to some context for those who
yeah,
don't know about video nasties.
yeah,
VHS, brand new format. There's never been a home video format before. Things always were either in cinema or maybe on TV years later. But now people can buy VHSs, and it was like, whoa. And that lay rise to a lot of underground film production, like from American or Italian films, or especially Italian
a lot
films.
of European stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And Europeans tend to have less strict rules on censorship than, say, America or even Britain. But no, you got various bodies like Amy Whitehouse or the NVALA objecting to it for violating the Obscenity Act of 1959 and its violent content that any child would be able to buy it, and they lay their sights on 72 particular films, and like, yeah, this is good. And at that point they were just like
yeah.
disappeared from shelves.
I should just point out the 72 films. The worst thing about them is they're not very good.
Well,
That-
debatable.
that's- well, yeah. I mean, there were a few like classics on there, but most of them were just like utter tosh. Do you know what I mean?
A lot were, yeah. Like,
Yeah. I think I don't remember the list off the top of my head, but I do remember there were some films that have gone on to be regarded as cult classics and whatnot.
Yeah,
Mm.
there was Evil Dead, the original Evil Dead, that
Yeah.
was on the list. And I do really like the Evil Dead and its 2 sequels as well. I
Yeah.
don't know about you guys.
Last
Yeah.
House on the Left.
Is that the
Yeah,
Wes Craven
that,
film?
yeah,
Yeah.
Wes Craven.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I Spit on
yeah.
Your Grave.
Oh yeah, that was on there as well. Yeah, that
Mm.
was on there.
Yeah.
Faces of Death. You guys.
What the fuck's that?
Oh, it was it's a film series. It's only the original we got, man, because all the others came after. But it was a mixture of supposed real near-death experiences that have been caught on like home video Super 8 or
Snuff
on news
film.
footage. It's like, well, snuff film is more intentionally killing
Yeah.
someone for it. This is just accidental deaths caught on camera. A lot of
Right.
them were fake, but there were a lot of them that were real that they included in
Oh,
there.
right.
So yeah, that's another thing, that if something wasn't intended for a film and it shows that like someone, I don't know, being run over by a van like in Faces of Death, should that be allowed? Because you got also the Kennedy assassination footage, which you can watch on YouTube as well.
Yeah, the Zapruder film.
Mm.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I feel underqualified to answer that question. I think it's too good of a question. I think that, yeah, that's a good question, actually. I don't know, because you're right. I don't know. Just a good question.
Like films like that should be kept, like say if they need it for evidence or investigation into something, which yeah, of course, but the same could also be said for child pornography. Doesn't mean that should be out for public consumption, because it most certainly shouldn't.
Yeah, well, I think it should be given for police and stuff, obviously not to be shown to the public, stuff like that. Because have you seen that? There's a documentary out there called "Don't Fuck with Cats." Have you seen it?
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
not seen it, but I've heard about it.
Well, basically, this guy was like killing cats online. Like I
Yeah,
know you
yeah,
obviously know about that kind of stuff, and showing it on Facebook and stuff like that. And people were trying to track him down based on the videos he were put out there, like looking for clues in the videos and stuff. So that in that way, they can be useful in that way for tracking stuff like that down.
Mm.
yeah.
But
Speaking of utter nonsense on the list, you got films like The Gestapo's Last Orgy.
Yeah.
You've got
That's what I mean. That's what I'm
yeah,
talking about when I'm saying like, well, no one's gonna watch that anyway.
yeah, Nazisploitation. You also got Love Camp 2, which has a massive swastika on it. It's like an internment camp, and it's
Yeah,
not really love. A lot of it is sexual assault. So
yeah. I'm sure all the 8-year-olds are just gonna like storm to the local video store to get like,
mm. Now, what do we think of Nazisploitation films?
oh,
I've not really seen that many.
I've not
Also,
seen
She
that
Will for
many.
the SS.
Oh yeah, I know about that, but all it is it's just kind of fetishizing the Third Reich.
Mm.
You know, that's all it is, because they get like these like buxom women in Nazi uniforms, and I mean it's tasteless, but it's so stupid
Yeah, it's just
that
funny.
I can't really be offended by it, but I can see why people would. I mean, you don't get them nowadays, but I think the closest we got was Oh, what was that film that Tarantino did with Rodriguez that had all the fake trailers in?
Inglorious Bastards.
No.
No, it was the Grindhouse films, wasn't
The
it?
Grindhouse film, and they had all these like fake trailers in, and I think like Rob Zombie did a fake trailer for them, which are like these mini short films, and he did like a Nazisploitation film trailer for that.
Mm.
That's the closest we'll ever get to a Nazisploitation movie these days.
I mean, we've had Nazi zombies before, but Dead Snow was that that had Nazi zombies
No,
in it.
that's no. That's just like that's actually a really good film. Dead Snow's really cool. I remember watching
Yeah.
the trailer for that in the school library. It's like, dude, there's like this new Nazi zombies movie, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, Jesus, and we just like secretly watched it, and I remember the tagline was Eins, zwei, die. I just thought I said like 1, 2, 5.
Oh.
In case the joke went over your heads, because it's like so subtle and sophisticated.
Yeah. What do we? I don't want to speak too much ill of the dead, but what do we think to Mary Whitehouse? Because she's a very significant figure in censorship in the 80s.
She said what she believed. She said what she meant, and she meant what she said. Unfortunately, a lot of it was bollocks.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, go on, Hayden. Yeah.
No, I was just saying, considering she'd never even seen the films, not to like just to pass judgment based on what she's probably heard, because obviously the internet wasn't, well, the internet was there, but it wasn't really around. So it would just be based on what she really had heard, or maybe seen on TV in adverts, if they had any adverts for that kind of stuff, I guess.
Like publication, she probably would have seen like posters and stuff.
Yeah.
Or trailer reels. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my first introduction to Whitehouse was through Doctor Who. Because even though that's different, obviously, to film, but obviously Doctor Who is very popular with children, and it did occasionally in the 70s have its hairy moments. I think one of the biggest ones, oh shit, what's it called? I think one of Jeffro, do you remember like one of the old Auton stories with John Pertwee?
It wasn't Spearhead from Space, was it?
There was Spearhead from Space and Terror of the Autons.
Yeah, it's the one with the master in, was it? With the chair?
Yeah. With the
Oh yeah.
But there was one in, I think it was Terror of the Autons, where like the Auton was disguised as a policeman and obviously started shooting people, and the sight of like the English Bobby massacring innocent civilians,
Yeah.
that stuff like that caused an uproar. I think there was even like a debate in Parliament about it in response to that episode. I swear there was, and they were just like, "What can be shown on what is essentially children's TV?" So yeah, that was my introduction to to Mary.
No. Do you seem like the sort of lady that you'd you'd make a cup of tea for, and she'd be like quite polite. It's just her political activism had a negative impact on things. I think that the movements that are still going on today about like, oh yeah, this should be censored and everything like that. Because you hear things like, yeah. Because do you know Tenet was censored to get a 12A rating?
No, I didn't.
What did they call?
It was scenes of someone being kicked on the floor. I think it was on the boat, you know, with the bit of gold bars, and that guy came back and he stole a gold bar. I think it was that. I think it's on the BBFC official site, but nah, because he repeatedly kicked him on the floor several times. That would have got it to a 15 rating, but everything else was like 12.
Yeah, that I find quite strange.
Mm.
It's kind of like
Yeah.
it's kind of like is it Clockwork Orange where he beats the tramp to death at the
Oh,
beginning?
yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think that was because I mean Clockwork Orange. We can dedicate a whole episode to that in and of itself.
Mm.
They had like that scene and the rape scene, and that caused like a massive uproar. But that's like now considered a classic. So that's like,
Mm.
it's weird how these things turn out.
Yeah.
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 Like Evil Dead,
Yeah. Yeah,
some
absolutely.
it's some ultra cheap shoestring horror film, and now it's like a major franchise, isn't it? So
Yeah, it is.
Mm.
Yeah. I think more modern day censorship's focused more on video games than films, I think
I
anyway.
agree. I
Yeah.
agree. Like Rockstar games, pretty much every Rockstar game has caused some kind of debate. What was that one they did? Was it Manhunter?
Manhunt, yeah.
Yeah, where you play as like a that one. That's like a true video nasty for video games.
Mm.
Yeah.
I've not played it, so I can't really comment on it.
Well, it's a stealth game where you're basically you play as a prisoner who's about to be executed on an electric chair, and he wakes up in this like arena type environment. I wouldn't exactly say it's like an arena, but he like has to play this like battle royale kind of game with other
Yeah,
people,
yeah,
and you basically have to sneak around and carry out these brutal executions.
yeah.
The other NPCs, stuff like wrapping a bag around
Paper bags
somebody's
and
face,
stuff. Yeah,
yeah, and stabbing them to death. And I don't know. I think it was in Manhunt 2. They had the syringe. Had
yeah.
the syringe
Manhunt Two
kind of,
was wasn't Manhunt Two like even worse, like in terms of
yeah, because I think it was the PlayStation version of Manhunt 2 had to be censored. Like they like in like the death scenes, they kind of like have these camera angles and stuff like that, and they like I think they like made them certain colors and stuff like that. Basically, made it blurry and gave it depth of field to
yeah,
censor the death scenes in it.
yeah. But Rockstar, they get that. Um, they attract controversy, like with Bully.
Yeah, yeah,
But the
yeah.
thing
That's another
about
one.
Bully is, I think they even didn't they like change the name of it over here to the Latin type name or something. But in
Yeah,
Bully, it's like you don't play the bully, you play the bullied. It's like
yeah,
it's out there the title and we're just like, oh, it's GTA for school kids. And it's like, yeah, mechanically, but not in terms of the theme of the story and whatnot.
yeah, yeah. I'm still waiting for the sequel to that whenever it comes out.
It's
Probably
never
like a
coming.
million,
It's never coming, Hayden.
a million years time, maybe.
Because they know you want it and they're not going to give it to you.
They'll probably wait till I'm dead or something like that, and then they'll do it just straight after I'm dead.
Yeah, 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 just to spite you.
Yes.
But yeah, fucking hell, we've gone off tangents about games.
Mm.
Jeffro, Rainer's back in.
Oh, I was going to continue on games actually.
Oh, okay.
GTA
Oh,
San Andreas, didn't that get into trouble? Because they announced all like the violent stuff, but there was this unlocked sex scene that they didn't declare.
oh, oh yeah,
And they get into a
It's
whole lot of trouble for that because in a lot of
yeah.
countries that would put it in the rating above wherever it was.
It was a
mm.
cheat code, wasn't it?
Mm.
Yeah,
I can't. Is that where you can have like sex with a hooker or something like that?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't know because I've not
Yeah.
indulged in these things.
What, hookers or video games?
I'm not at liberty to say.
Oh, if you really want to like get into that, it's like there's some stuff in Japan which is just completely out there. Like you can like I remember on the Nintendo DS there was like this like dating simulator thing where you'd like date the chicks in the games and stuff like that, and guys got like proper attached to these chicks as well.
Fucking loads of them. The PS
Yeah.
store is absolutely rammed with them. I'm sick of it. Stop making my life miserable.
But yeah, I remember, like, it was a few months ago actually. I was very glad I was watching the BBC News, and I was very glad they did this. They did a like positive take on video games for once. Like, the media always slams video games, but the BBC, took a different direction with it, because there was this man and his kid, and they were playing FIFA on there on PlayStation, I think, or Xbox. I can't remember which one, but yeah, and they were just saying like how much of like a positive impact it's made on them during lockdown, like
Yeah,
mental health wise.
yeah,
Like it's helped take them away from what's happening in the world, and you know,
yeah. Like Animal Crossing and stuff.
yeah,
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 yeah.
and
That's good because I think most people in the media, it's like there's two types of games. There's Pac-Man and then there's GTA, and there's like no in between. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. It annoys me when the media do negative stuff about it. It's just like, well, the whole point in why people play a game, well, I don't actually know, that's not a fair point to say, but one of the reasons people play games is because it's stuff they can't really do in real life. Is that
Yeah,
a fair thing to say? So
yeah.
obviously you can't go down the street and shoot somebody in real life, because you'll get put in prison for murder. Um, and if you drop the soap in prison, you're fucked, basically.
Literally.
Mm.
So yeah, like video games aren't meant to be like real life, which is what media is kind of trying to say. It's like, oh well, it's a lot like real life, so it influences people to do stuff in real life. I think it does the opposite, really.
Yeah,
Because if a video game was like real life, it would be shit.
I know.
Mm.
It's like the most soul-draining, boring game.
Got to file
Yeah.
your taxes. Oh.
Yeah, and like
Back to the taxes again.
video games in a way are similar to films in that they're looking for that outer world experience almost.
Yeah. And like films, they get blamed for real life events.
Yeah, like we
So
were just yeah, like we were saying, and with video games, like we were saying about Manhunt and stuff, there was an incident with, I think it was a 15-year-old kid killed his mate or something like that,
right.
and they blamed Manhunt for it, and that's what because Manhunt 2 I think it got banned originally, and
Yeah.
that's where they had to like censor it and stuff, and well, they blamed Manhunt for the kid doing it, but I'm like, at the end of the day, the parents should have been watching what the kid was playing. Like,
Well, you can't prove that. You can't
no,
prove it. It's
well,
like,
no.
I mean, yeah,
Well, no, it's like fast food, in my opinion. If someone can't handle something they see on screen, they shouldn't like be watching it or playing it in the first place. Like,
no
there's
one, no one, no one goes into a film a good person and comes out bad.
well, no, well, yeah, absolutely. But like, if like a lot of the time, they've already got, I don't want to say wrong with them, but like, there's something else
If they're
there.
not of a sound mind,
Yeah,
then they can be
basically.
played. But no one goes in a good person and leaves corrupted.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's like I mean there's several famous cases of this happening, but like I think like the Hungerford massacre was blamed on Rambo 3. And the thing is, Rambo 3's the dumb one, where he like single-handedly kills half of the Soviet army in Afghanistan.
Sounds
And
like
that
Mujahideen.
film, by all consensus, was supposed to be like a 15, but because of the Hungerford massacre and all that hoopla surrounding it, it became an 18.
Yeah.
Things like that. So
It's the least graphic one, even though it had the most counts of violence in any film up to that point.
Yeah, but it was like so stupid, unlike the first two, which were like somewhat grounded in reality, especially First Blood.
Yeah.
And Rambo 3, it's the one where he's shirtless, he's like well oiled, he's single-handedly holding an M60 machine gun with the Mujahideen behind him.
And that's probably the most, don't want to say offensive, but the most, that thing about it.
Yeah.
Is didn't know that anything about Operation Tycoon until watching that. Got really confused.
I know.
Oh,
I think in like the original print of like Rambo 3 at the end credits, they say like, "Oh, we want to extend our gratitude to our friends in the Mujahideen and the Taliban," and it's like, if only they knew. If only they knew.
well, sort of staying on a similar topic. What about films like, say, Four Lions, that deal with the topic of terrorism, but in a comedic light, something that, all intents and purposes, has killed hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of people, but sort of like poking fun at it. What do you say to that, guys?
That's a very hard subject for me to cover because there's so much, like, modern day UK, so much tension between, far right people and Muslims.
Mm.
It's a very real issue.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of difficult because it shouldn't be funny, but it is. You know what I mean? And it's like the whole point of that film is that they're jihads in training, which is ridiculous. And it's like we see it through their eyes. And it's I think there's like a scene where they're like debating where they should blow up, and then one of them suggests like Tesco's and stuff, and it's like it's so pathetic.
And then one of them decides, oh yeah, let's blow up a mosque.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like the fact that we're laughing at it part of the problem. Do you see what I mean? It's kind of like it's kind of like some kind of Inception existential crisis. It's like I don't know. I think it's because it's like comedy of a satirical flavor. It can, you know, I don't want to say get away with it because that sounds really cheap, but it's able to do stuff that otherwise shouldn't be made. I mean, what if like Four Lions was a documentary? Would it change our outlook on it? Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like is it Jojo Rabbit?
Oh, with
I mean, like,
Hitler.
yeah, exactly. It's like, kind of no, kind of in a similar boat, really. It's like, should any film like that be made?
Oh, Forty Towers, the Germans. Don't mention the war.
Yeah. I mean, like, going into film history, like, oh shit, what was his name? That comedian. Was it Jerry Lewis or something? He was like going to make a film about the Holocaust, but it was going to be like a comedy. It's called The Day the Clown Cried. It never got made. Well, it did get made, but it's like in a vault somewhere. And it was seen by like very few people. And they all said it was like tasteless and stuff like that. But then Jojo Rabbit comes along, and that's a comedy set in Nazi Germany. So it's like, I don't know. It depends how it's handled. It's all to do with like intention versus execution, isn't it?
Yeah, it's also dependent on humor as well, because if the joke is that bigotry, racism, or other sorts of prejudice is stupid because it ignores everything else,
Yeah.
then that is seen as like punching up and like, hey. But if the joke is, "Ha, you are Jew, Jew is bad," then that's just plain old anti-Semitic and awful.
All right, Jeff. Didn't have to name calls.
No, no, I'm not. No, 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 no.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
Oh,
Yeah. So I can't. I don't think there is an easy answer for the whole four line situation, is there? So
oh.
yeah.
Full of difficult questions this afternoon.
I know
Difficult
that.
ones.
I wish I had brought my notes.
Throwing you in the deep end.
I mean, Jeff, I mean, you always ask difficult questions, Jeff.
They're the fun ones to ask. Because if it was easy, then I wouldn't ask.
I mean, I'm not going to say some of them what you send me on Facebook, but yeah.
Oh,
I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
okay. Another weird quirk with the BBFC. Under an 18 rating, we can show penetration, but on TV, we can't. And I know that Channel 4 got into some bother when they screened The Idiots, because it was partly funded by the Danish public broadcaster, it was Montreal, and they broadcast it. They were like, yeah, but their rules allowed it. Technically, according to Ofcom, you can't show things like penetration, erections, urination, and that. But
Urination.
yeah, if it's live
Oh,
urination,
right. Okay.
but Channel 4 showed it, I think, on Film 4 on their like banned films
Yeah.
week or something like back
Yeah.
in 2010. They got an awful lot of trouble for it, but honestly, if you were going to go to channel Film 4 or whatever, like 11 o'clock at night with something that's labeled a banned film with a warning on it, you go in and you're shocked by what you see. I'm sorry, but you got no one to blame but yourself. I'm sorry, but you got all the warnings. Like you don't have the right to act shocked.
Yeah.
But in terms of like penetration, what do you mean? Like actually showing it, or like
Yeah.
just
I didn't know
indicating
about. I
it?
didn't know about the penetration thing. So
Because I remember
I
watching
didn't ask. But
Because I remember watching Shameless a few years ago, the UK version, by the way, and I think it has a scene with like two gay men like having sex and stuff. So is it just showing it? I guess showing it.
Showing the penis and said vagina or anus.
Okay, right, I get you
Just
now.
for clinical definitions, clarifying, because there are some scenes where actors really had sex, but you don't see the mechanics of what's
Birds
going
and the
on.
Bees with Jeffro Randall. Sponsor us, sex education outlet, please.
But then again, Netflix, Amazon Prime, they get to subvert that. But even then, there was still some
Guideline.
controversies. Well, there's still some controversies, and some ones in Amazon Prime in the UK are censored. When in Chile, it's fine.
Are the guidelines between streaming and terrestrial television like worlds apart, or because I don't know?
Quite a bit, yes.
Right.
I mean, they have to put age ratings, and even if it doesn't have an official BBFC rating, they have to put a rough guide to it. Say like, oh yeah, this is
Right.
16 plus or whatever.
Right.
But that's the thing, because say going back to Cuties,
Yeah.
that did have official BBFC rating of I think 15, and
You had a 15.
yeah,
I guess. Well, I guess there's nothing really in it, is there? So
it's just a bit, but
yeah. That's what I mean. Yeah.
Netflix, I don't think they produced it, but they bought the rights to it essentially. But
Yeah.
why would they not show it? They own the means of distribution,
Yeah.
so why would they not show it? Say we're syndicated, excuse me, there'll be that another layer of yeah, we're not going to show this. No, possibly.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I concur.
Mm. Uh,
I mean, you're not going to see like Human Centipede on TV, but you're going to see it on Netflix because it is on Netflix.
Is it actually?
Yeah.
Wow.
But the second one is cut in the UK.
That's genuinely, that's quite surprising to me. I'm guessing it's under the horror section.
Yeah. Even
kids,
though
kids TV.
Yeah. You saw A Bug's
Sandwich
Life.
between
Now watch
Dora
Human
and like
Centipede.
Wallace and Gromit, the Human Centipede 2.
There wasn't that meme where someone said, "You've previously watched A Bug's Life. Now recommended to you Human Centipede."
We noticed you liked Citizen Kane, so you might like this movie, Human Centipede 2.
Ooh. Yeah.
I've not seen it, so
The three of them.
I've seen the first one. I thought it was boring as fuck.
it's just like an entire build up to just the
Yeah.
centipede itself, basically.
Yeah, and I thought it looked shit. I thought the actual like human thing, I thought it looked fucking terrible. I mean, I guess that's what it would look like, but I just thought,
Yeah, well, did you hear about what how the director came up with that idea?
no.
The idea for the Human Centipede, okay. Well, basically, he was having a drink with his mates one night, and he just said he was like watching like some paedophile get arrested on TV or something like that. Anyway, he was saying, "Oh well, if they like sewed paedophiles like arse to face, that would be a great punishment for him." And that's just how he came up with the film, basically.
As you do, inspired.
Having a cold one with the boys.
Having a
Yeah,
call one with the boys and just coming up with film ideas.
yeah. But he's made a trilogy out of it, so
Mm.
And he somehow got Eric Roberts to be in the third one. I don't know how he managed it.
come on, man. Eric Roberts would come to my birthday party if I paid him enough. I like Eric Roberts, by the way. I do like Eric Roberts.
He's an Oscar-nominated actor. How the fuck did he end up in the Human Centipede 3?
Probably for giggles, isn't it?
Oh, he must have got a big paycheck. They must have like spent most of the budget on like Eric Roberts.
No.
He's not it.
They rang him up and was like, "Yo, Rob, you free this Sunday?"
Wasn't there the director of that? He's gonna make a film about women, women,
Women?
women,
What women?
women pleasuring themselves to 9/11 footage.
What?
Exactly,
Wait, what?
exactly. That's the sort of film that you hear about it as a joke, and you're like, "Oh yeah, is that a real film?"
They're pleasuring themselves to footage of 9/11, not the
Yeah.
actual plane. Like they're just walking across New York City and then they just like see the plane and they just drop their pants.
Well, I can believe it since what I just told you about the Human Centipede was originally just a joke made by him or an idea.
I mean, it's bold, it's daring, original.
Very daring.
It's original.
Yeah.
He is an auteur.
Yeah.
What's the guy's name?
Tom
The director.
Six.
Tom Six, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that his actual name?
Doesn't he always wear shades and like a white suit?
Oh, and like a straw hat.
Yeah.
Trying to be like a cowboy or something like that.
He looks like he should be like a henchman in Chinatown or something.
He looks like when you play the Hitman games, he looks like one of those costumes.
Yeah. Yeah.
What? No, that is not his. That is not his real name.
What's his real name?
It says it's Shane McDogshit.
Is that on Wikipedia by any chance?
I don't know.
Maybe he did it by
Oh.
like a poll.
No, Nord Holland Alkmaar.
See, that's a way cooler name. That's like a Bond name. Tom Six. That's a porno name.
I guess that's
Oh.
what he's going for.
I think, to be honest, as I said that aloud, I thought, no, he's actually beat me with his logic. Or lack thereof.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about Cannibal Holocaust?
Not really, but we can do.
Hayden, do you?
Not really, but we can do.
Oh, probably
I've not seen it for ages.
The ironic thing is, it's banned in the UK. Well, 15 seconds are banned in the UK as of 2005, but you can watch it uncut on YouTube right now.
Yeah.
It's age
Yeah, I saw
restricted,
that.
but oh.
Yeah, but you just sign in with one of your 8 accounts. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, not as if we need it. We're all over 18, aren't we?
Yeah,
Maybe.
I had to think about that. I feel like just because I'm scared of my frail mortality.
Yeah. Do you ever just get to the point where you have to count the years since you were born? Because just after 21, you just forget.
I think it's worse since lockdown because the days just bleed into one. So
yeah, what day even is it?
It's Sunday.
Sunday, apparently.
Oh yeah. Tomorrow I'm going to be officially unemployed. So.
Oh.
Nah.
Who is? You are.
Oh.
Yeah.
See,
dickhead.
Nah, that's a shame. Nah.
Anyways, we need to make this a clip and send it to Boris Johnson and tell him to get his shit sorted out.
Yeah, Boris Johnson, get me a.
You'd be great in Parliament, Jeff. I'd vote for you.
Oh, thank you. I'd vote for you as well.
No, you wouldn't. You take one look at my manifesto and just be like, this is the biggest pile of dog shit.
Well, what would be your manifesto?
I don't think I'd have one. That's probably why it's dog shit.
Well, what would be your manifesto?
It would be the tagline to whatever Cannibal Holocaust was.
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. Probably, I don't know. Bashing and Boris Johnson or something like that, you know.
Yeah, it wouldn't be hard.
You've got London locked down then. Yeah.
I mean, the guy must like brush his hair with a fucking balloon or something at the minute, you know.
At least he's got hair to brush.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
This one's going bold.
Cannibal Holocaust. Fuck off, Jeff. You've got great hair.
I'm losing it though. But thank you. I
well.
appreciate the compliment. You boosted my ego there.
You're fucking losing it. Look at me, you daft bitch.
I mean, yeah, just because someone else is losing it doesn't mean I can't start losing it as well. I swear it was all up to here, but now it's like receded.
Mine's back there.
I think it's because I dyed it, and it's like, oh yeah, right. I'm a head out.
Anyways, back to Cannibal Holocaust.
Yes.
What year did that come out?
1980.
Yeah.
It's an Italian film that was filmed in the Amazon rainforest. It's dubbed over in English.
Very badly.
Yeah.
As they all were.
Just giving some context for our viewers. It mine's a blank. Yeah. The animal violence was real. The animals that were killed were real. And the scene where the monkey was beheaded, they did it wrong first day, so they got another monkey and did it again with that, which is a bit.
Well, they bungled it.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Fucking amateurs.
Yeah. Just make sure that we're not laughing because
Oh
animal died,
no!
but we're laughing because
I'm laughing at the incompetency of the crew
yeah.
that led to the murder of a monkey.
Yeah. Just
Should we tell them? Should we tell them what the plot is?
yeah, I think that would be a good thing.
I mean, I'm sure they can put two and two together by the title, but
yeah, basically a documentary crew sent into the Amazon to film a film, like a documentary.
made long before the Blair Witch Project, we might
Yeah.
add. Yeah.
But they went missing, so this guy who sent them out, the producer, is like, oh yeah, walking in with his mustache. He was a porn actor as well, wasn't he?
Oh,
Mainly.
Jesus.
But he strolled in, and then he saw it was a Bolex camera as well, which
Yeah.
they can survive a nuclear explosion, I swear. But they found the reels of film, like the magazines, and took them back, developed them, looked back at it, and it was this documentary crew basically like doing, oh yeah, let's look at this, just smash, 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 kill, 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 and like shoot a load of oh, that's a very nice glass you got there. Shoot a load of tribe people, and they get killed at the end. Oh, spoilers, sorry, but yeah.
Jesus, Jeff. Next, you'll tell me that Rocky loses in Rocky.
Did he? No.
Yeah, he lost in the first one, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
But there was no animal cruelty in the first Rocky film.
I know, but that's no excuse to spoil the film. Next, you'll tell me that the Titanic sunk.
So, Hayden, did you want to talk about animal cruelty?
Why? What do you want me to say about it? That it's bad. That it's bad.
It's a work of art.
But we generally look at that and think, yeah, yikes, yeah, why would you kill an animal for a film? But say Apocalypse Now, the end scene. With
yeah.
Well, Martin Sheen's in there and Marlon Brando's like muttering to himself, blah, 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 and then he like as he's backing down on Marlon Brando, the tribes people outside are hacking down on their water buffalo sacrifice. Now, the context for filming is that they used a real tribe for that scene. Well, for the whole thing. They asked the tribe, like, yo, can we use you to film that? Yeah, sure thing. And
that's the exact conversation for
and they were going to do the sacrifice anyway, and Francis Ford Coppola's wife suggested to him that, why don't you film this? Like, it's going to happen, but wouldn't it be a good thing to have in the film? There was some like ums and ahs, but they thought, okay, film it and that, see what happens. And they filmed it, and it ended up in the film. But the animal wasn't procured for the film to be killed on film. The animals are going to be killed in that way anyway. It's the cultural thing again, what we discussed. Should that
comes full circle?
Yeah, should that be allowed?
But that wasn't. It wasn't planned. They were going to do it anyway, and it's a great film. It's made with integrity.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Where I mean, it's a different case, isn't it? Like Cannibal Holocaust, they intentionally killed animals for the film, whereas this was just filmed. That was going to happen anyway.
This was just some ritual that just happened, and I don't know what it adds to the film, if anything. So maybe that's where the problem arises.
Well, as
it's
killing him, and then scenes cut between.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think in that case, the integrity is there, so therefore it has artistic purpose.
Mm.
There is no artistic purpose in Cannibal Holocaust. So
Yeah.
yeah,
That's a tough one.
it
That's
is
a tough one for me to
it is
answer, really.
painful though when like the film is called Cannibal Holocaust, and yet we're really upset about these poor animals being killed.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, well, I agree with Denham. It's like Cannibal Holocaust. Like they kill these animals, and it's just like really like they could have done it in so many different ways, but they just had to like do it for real.
Because I think the whole point of it is to like show how savage these tribes are, but it's like you could have done that in a million different ways. Like in King Kong, the original, they show how savage these like tribes are, but they didn't have to like kill any animals for it. You know what I mean? It's like
Well,
it can be
yeah,
achieved so many different ways.
would it
yeah.
be a better film without the animal cruelty?
Would Cannibal Holocaust be a better film with
Mm.
that? I don't think it would save the film. You,
I
Mm.
mean,
I see what you mean though. It's like no, it won't make it a better film.
Okay.
It won't
What
make
about
it a
you,
better
Hayden?
film. You can't. If we took them out, it'd still be a shit film.
well,
Yeah.
yeah, it would still be a shit film.
Yeah, but I know what you're getting at.
Mm.
Yeah, it would still be a shit film, but obviously it would be better because animals would have lived.
Yeah,
Mm. So, say if we just grab a camera, walk into a slaughterhouse, film a load of animals being killed, include that in a film with artistic intent and that, blah blah blah. That would be more on the lines of Apocalypse Now than Cannibal Holocaust.
fucking hell, he's loaded with these questions, isn't he? Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know about that. Mm,
That's like if you do that, Jeff, it's like I don't know, making more people turn vegan then, I guess, if that's a way to put it.
yeah, you bastard. How dare you? Um, yeah. Well, is it a work of fiction? Is it not a work of fiction? That's the thing, really, isn't it?
Like the film Earthlings, where a lot of that was filmed with undercover cameras in American slaughterhouses where the standards aren't that great. And they say, yeah, well, you electrocute the animal, they don't feel a thing, but that's not what happens.
Yeah, that's
No.
bollocks. Yeah.
I know that Holland got in a lot of trouble a few years back for their treatment of animals, particularly pigs,
Yeah.
What did they
because
do?
I think they cut off like the genitals and stuff like that. Then I think
Why?
that's it.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know. I remember it. I remember it being on the news about it. I think
It won't stop people eating bacon.
no, definitely not.
No. It's one of those things. I do kind of. I feel terrible when I eat meat, but I just love meat.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Yeah. It's really awful.
I propose a question, you two. You both eat meat, don't you?
Yes.
yes,
Don't
Um,
spit in our face.
no, I'm just prefacing
Guilt
this.
trippers.
No, like if say there was meat that was synthesized, it tastes, it looks, it smells exactly like meat from an animal. Would you prefer to go for that than the stuff you've become accustomed to?
you see that's not exactly as straightforward as you believe because number one, like a lot of vegan products have proven they've got harmful chemicals in them that are like harmful for your health, and also there are some downsides to your health later on in life if you choose a vegan diet. So I don't know. It's not a very question. It's not a question you can answer with a straightforward answer. There's a lot of variables in it.
Yeah, I would rebuke that. Not that I fully disagree with your point, but I would say that eating meat also has the harmfulness to it. You or like the fats to it, sort of fats that you wouldn't necessarily get in plant-based products, and having the things that would be harmful. You get your deficiency in hemoglobin and vitamin B12, but you get those in beans. Like the chemicals that are in meat, they don't just magically appear there because a lot of the animals we eat are herbivores. It comes from plant-based products, and they therefore process it into their own meat, and we eat that. So all the products and that from there we get from farming,
Yeah.
like plant products.
Yeah.
Hypothetically, I'm no expert, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't claim to be an expert either, but I've read studies about that long life vegans are more likely to break bones than somebody who's not a vegan or an eat meater, shall we say?
Because of calcium, and they don't have like that in milk and such.
I'm not entirely sure specifics, Jeff, but that's I'm guessing it's that sort of thing. Maybe they do have calcium in vegan products. I'm not entirely sure.
I am no expert, but I do know that we're all gonna die, so you can eat whatever you want.
Oh.
Fair point.
but not cannibals. Do not eat human meat.
Actually, human meat is probably the best for us in terms of nutritional value.
Oh god.
Oh god, Jeff.
Well, just on a sidetrack.
Show us your fridge, Jeff.
Pardon?
Show us your fridge, Jeff. Do you think Silence of the Lambs is a documentary?
Like we as humans, we have certain needs and things, and what we don't need, we excrete. But for humans,
is misunderstood in Jeff's mind. He was onto something.
Here we go, talking about the virtues of cannibalism. But human meat is exactly what humans need. No. In terms of nutritional value, I'm not advocating.
I mean, if we run out of graveyard space, I guess that's an option.
Oh.
It's glorified recycling, isn't it?
No, but okay, Jeff.
Look at Jeff. Economical.
Soylent Green.
So what's your answer to that question, Jeff? Then
it takes more plant-based products to cultivate the meat that we eat than plant-based products we eat ourselves. Economically and environmentally, it makes more sense that humans would eventually turn at least vegetarian at some point, classing synthesized meat under vegetarianism. Yeah, it's like the whole thing with diamonds, that diamonds used to be mined from the earth, and there was a finite amount of them, but now you can synthesize them to a certain grade. It's almost like the diamonds that are worth so much. What's the point in that if you could just synthesize your own?
Yeah. All the diamond mining and smuggling from like the African continent and whatnot. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's hard to tell at this stage, isn't it? Maybe there'll come a time in 50 years when people were like, "What? You eat actual meat and not synthesized meat?" There was a time when you did that. I don't know.
Yeah, and they'll probably find it disgusting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's what tends to happen, isn't it? We look back on like 10 years. If we look, I don't know, actually, 10 years may be too short, but like think about like gay marriage and stuff like that. If we look back
Mm,
at stuff like that, when gay marriage wasn't allowed on, we would be like, why wasn't it allowed? Like, really? We did
Even
that?
yeah, even like smaller things. Like I was watching a film the other day. I can't remember what it's called, but it was in the 60s, made in the 60s. Everyone smokes, and
Yeah.
it was just like so weird. It's like a guy went into a room, everyone was smoking, and it was like a public area. It was like a casino or something.
mm,
And I just thought, whoa. Like you couldn't see anything for like the palpable smog of tobacco. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, different times.
mm.
People are smoking while they're eating dinner,
Around children.
around children, around animals, inside, outside.
Mm,
Yeah, yeah. It's things like that. So yeah. So the answer to the question is we don't know, and we won't know until it happens, if it does happen.
mm,
We may not
yeah,
be alive to find out.
Well, we
yeah.
still got some time, I hope.
We're not experts. We don't claim to be. We're just curious individuals. Now, I'm going to use your mention of mining to segue into another
Yes,
topic of
yeah,
Minecraft's uncensored library. Do you guys play Minecraft at all?
I used to.
I used to.
Or
But the thing is, I never played it for like, excuse me, for like recreation, like leisure. I used it for like projects, like like setting up shots and scenes.
oh,
Oh,
okay.
right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Ben Wheatley did that. You know when he did Free Fire. Was it Free Fire? I think it was Free Fire. He used like Minecraft to like stage where he was going to put camera and whatnot,
Hmm.
placement of actors and whatnot for the film.
Do they do that with Roblox, but for universities that were shut?
I've no idea.
They just rebuilt the university in Roblox and people attend lectures
Oh
through that.
yeah, oh yeah. Imagine paying 9 grand for that.
At least Roblox is free. Free.
Yeah, yeah, but it's still it's such a middle-aged academic way of looking at it. It's like "Oh, we could just make them go Minecraft. No, we'll spend money and make our own system.
Mm. So Phantom Forces in Roblox is, yeah, try it out if you haven't. It's pretty good.
Right, okay.
But anyway,
What an endorsement. Sponsor us, Roblox, please.
back to the Uncensored library.
What is it?
It's something. It's like a Minecraft world made by Reporters Without Borders. People who run the Press Freedom Index and try to like advocate for press freedom and anti-censorship. It opened on March the 12th last year, I think, and basically is this glorious structure. Like even without the library aspect to it itself, the structure itself is absolutely phenomenal. It's massive and it's made of, I think, like a lot of it's quartz and something like glass and that. Um, and it's got this like garden out the front with like a massive like fist holding a pen. The pen mightier than the sword.
Yeah.
And you go into like the main chamber, and at the bottom it's got the map of the world with color coded about the press freedom index by country, and up above it has every single like country's flag and a little thing about their press freedom index sort of record. And then through that there are 6 rooms. 5 of them are with the strictest rules on censorship, while also allowing Minecraft. So Reporters Without Borders are using Minecraft to show previously censored articles and things that wouldn't have otherwise been seen by people, which I think is amazing personally.
It is quite ingenious.
Yeah.
The countries include Vietnam, Russia, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and Mexico. Obviously not like North Korea in that because, well, can't get anything in North Korea. Not even NordVPN.
Do you reckon like North Korea is like a paradise and that's why no one leaves? It's like an idyllic utopia, and all we've been fed is like false propaganda.
I mean, there was a guy went into North Korea with a camera a few years ago, didn't he? And took some like photos.
Just
Dennis Rodman's been to North Korea.
Wait, what?
Dennis Rodman.
Has he actually?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
What did he say about it?
I don't know. I think he wasn't negative. So, but was he saying all? I think he was quite positive. But was he saying that because some guy with an AK-47 was behind him?
Maybe.
I don't know. But it's like, I'm sorry to talk about North Korea. We will get back to Minecraft.
No, that's okay.
But it's like, can you imagine the deprogramming that would have to go on if like North Korea ever like fell and was like liberated?
Oh.
I think their heads would explode. I think we'd have like 6 million dead innocent civilians. Just couldn't comprehend that. Oh, there's more than one channel.
I'd probably look at the rest of the world and be like, yeah, no thanks, and go right back in.
Yeah, I probably would. I don't
say
know.
that half jokingly, but then again, that's all they've been used to. So
yeah. But yeah, so North Korea is not part of this.
No, funny enough, not China, even though Minecraft is available in China, but there are certain limitations, so that's probably why. Within each room, they got their own little gimmick that's been made. Like Vietnam has like a maze in the middle of it, so like a maze to like find the truth. In Russia, there's like an octopus coming out of the water, like octopus tentacles. So like, trying to grab in. There's that sort of
like a kraken.
Yeah. About that. Yeah, that's the word.
Yeah.
Egypt has scales of liberty, but tipped to one side, which.
Thank God, I thought it was going to be pyramids. I was like, please don't make it be pyramids. So unoriginal.
It's sort of. It's quite a good image. Here's that. Saudi Arabia has a cage. I must say, for both Egypt and Saudi Arabia, because they don't have Arabic in, you can't type in Arabic in Minecraft. They have in audio form as well for people, for those who speak Arabic. And
do they not have Arabic for Minecraft?
I don't believe so. I don't think they can write it in the books that they have for Minecraft.
Oh, right. They can't code it.
Nah.
Right.
And say for Mexico, all until this point, there's that novelty to it that it's like, whoa, and this whole structure is absolutely fantastic. And you sort of get lost in some of the spectacle of it. But when you get to the Mexico section, it sort of becomes all the more real because instead of any like fancy thing to it, it's a memorial to all the journalists that have been killed by the cartel. And sort of the reasons why they were killed for it, which sort of has a bit of a weight to it, a bit of a toll, and sort of highlights the
fucking party poopers.
Highlights the importance.
It's how we go from Russia with like this ginormous kraken to like a memorial of dead journalists who were fighting the cartels.
Well, that's the reason. It's not the government; it's the cartel that restricts the press censorship in in
Because they are the
Mexico.
government,
Yeah,
pretty
basically.
much. I've seen License to Kill. I know what goes on
Uh,
in South America.
just want to do a little thing because I found this quite surprising, but want to see if you guys guess this. Countries that are in the top 5 with press freedom, and countries that are in the bottom 5 of press freedom.
We'd be up there as one of the best, I would guess, because Piers Morgan exists.
And Katie Hopkins.
No.
Right, Hayden, you do yours, and then I'll do mine.
What
So,
for best?
so what is it? Top 5 worst for freedom and best for freedom.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, obviously for the best, I'm going to go our country, the United Kingdom, because I mean Piers Morgan exists, Kate Hopkins exists, Nigel Farage exists, who has said racial things. So, yeah, America, I guess, would be in there as well. Canada, Australia, and I don't know who else. Maybe, I don't know, France, New Zealand, something like that.
Which one? You have 5 guesses.
France, New Zealand, they're all the same.
Yeah, I'll just go New Zealand just because, well, the people
Okay.
always praise the government. So I guess that's, I don't know.
I know,
guess
right?
a
New
free
Zealand
country.
looks like a utopia.
Sounds like it.
And your bottom 5?
What's the worst? What's the worst?
Do you want to guess your bottom 5, Hayden, and then get to Denham?
Yeah, Russia, China, North Korea. I don't know if I'd say Saudi Arabia, maybe something like that. I don't know.
You saying it?
Yeah. What else? Cuba, maybe. I don't know if they're quite communist, aren't they?
They are communist.
Yeah.
Okay. Those are your guesses?
Yeah.
Okay. Same for you, Denham?
So mine. So for the best, I am like Hayden tempted to go with the obvious ones like the United Kingdom and the United States, but I think they're too obvious. And to be honest, I don't know if we are. To be honest, so I think it's going to end up. I think they're all going to be like first world developed countries, but I think they're going to be things like I'd say Japan,
Okay.
the Netherlands, Holland.
Okay.
Switzerland, Austria, and I will say the UK, just for I don't know why patriotism. I don't know what.
And your bottom 5?
China,
China, yep.
Saudi Arabia. I mean, people get beheaded for witchcraft in Saudi Arabia, so I'd go with Cuba.
Cuba. Yep.
Singapore.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
And I've got one more, Enter.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm looking around the room as if I'm going to get like some inspiration. Russia.
Russia. Okay.
The Ruskies.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Oh, I didn't say North Korea, did I? Don't matter.
Okay. You have both got 2 points.
So what were they?
You both guessed China for the worst. Hayden, you correctly guessed North Korea. And Denholm, for the best, you correctly guessed the Netherlands. The UK
Yeah.
isn't in the top 5 or even the top 10.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Yeah.
We're
That
actually...
it sounds really bad, doesn't it?
Mm,
But when you think about it, it's probably the case.
we're at
I only say the Netherlands because they seem really lax when it comes to sex, like the sex industry.
Yeah, and truffles and things.
Yeah.
The UK is at number 35.
35.
35.
We've got a little, we're in the yellow section. So it goes
That's bad.
white or very light yellow, yellow, orange, red, black. So we're in yellow.
Is the USA above us?
USA is number 45. So all they talk about is freedom of speech. Well,
Yeah. I mean, you've seen Team America, yeah?
Yeah.
That's all about freedom.
Hayden, you were close. You guessed New Zealand, but that's number 9.
Okay.
Denholm, you guessed Switzerland. That was number 8.
Yeah.
I'll go through them 10 to first
Yeah.
best. Portugal, New Zealand, Switzerland, Costa Rica, Jamaica.
Jamaica.
Yeah, surprised about
I
that, but
guess because it's that small.
yeah, probably have the attitude of like, well, who gives one really? Netherlands, Sweden, Denmark, Finland, Norway.
Of course, the Nordic countries.
Oh,
No way.
always forget about those.
Oh shit! How could I forget the Nordic model? Yeah,
Bottom 100.
they always kick our ass when it comes to this kind of thing. When it comes to like quality of life and stuff.
So does Singapore, but I noticed you mentioned Singapore for press freedom because they do best in like IQ, healthcare, GDP, but
Yeah,
press freedom there,
yeah.
which
I know. It's weird, isn't it?
for bottom 100, Denholm, you were also close. Cuba's number 10.
Yeah.
Then it's Laos,
Laos,
Iran,
Laos. Yeah.
Iran, Syria, Vietnam, Djibouti.
Who?
Djibouti.
Djibouti. Where is Djibouti?
It's like you've got Africa, and then the bit where it points up just below the Arabian Peninsula, it's just in that little like corner thing. It's a very small country.
Okay, I'm going to Djibouti next year.
China,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
Eritrea.
What?
Yeah, I didn't know either.
I should have listened more in geography because this is like ridiculous.
Turkmenistan.
Is that between Turkey and Afghanistan?
It's Kazakhstan.
Oh yeah.
It's like just below that. I'm not sure if it's one to the left or the right, but it's one of those.
Yeah.
And then finally North Korea, which comes to the surprise of no one.
No.
Yeah.
But I didn't say North Korea. I think it's because it's so obvious I didn't bother to say it. I thought it was a given.
I'm really surprised about that.
Where's Turkey?
Oh, do you want me to get up the list right now?
Yeah, I don't want you. I don't want you to read it out. I'm just curious because I know that Turkey under Erdogan and stuff.
Mm.
Because they had like that coup a few years ago and journalists and whatnot. Similar situation to Russia, I think. I say that I didn't even know that Djibouti was a country, so
It's like
who
a
am I
very
to say?
tiny. It's like a very, very tiny country. Turkey, 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 Turkey.
I've never been to Turkey.
Nah, neither have I.
Turkey is
I remember it being quiet.
154.
I remember 154. Oh. Hmm.
Yeah.
I remember Turkey being quite a popular nation back in my early school years. Like everyone went to Turkey. It was like Turkey and Spain.
You also guess like Canada and Australia. I'm just going to have a look at those. Talk how much it sells.
Yeah, I had a thought Canada would be quite high.
Yeah,
16.
I imagine. Yeah. I imagine it would be quite high.
Australia's 26.
26. Mm.
So it's still in like the yellow territory, but to be honest, once it gets to number 15, that's yellow territory, so you shouldn't be too worried. And to be honest, it's probably because things like the BBC are probably funded, and as soon as the BBC start doing things they don't like, the government starts saying, "Oi, stop it, stop it." Not the level of
That's what I'm
like
saying. That's what I'm
content.
saying. It's like that's what I was saying when I said like we should be shocked, but we're probably not. You know what I mean? Like when you think about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Channel 4 and ITV, they're pretty well free to do what they want.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I find it I actually find it quite interesting to look at the Uncensored library. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous build.
Yeah, it sounds
Yeah.
interesting.
Just looking around it, like, well. But yeah, I think it's worth saying that the people who made the world, there's one of them who lives in each of the oppressed countries, and I mentioned 6 rooms, but only 5 of them for countries. The other one is sort of dedicated to just Reporters Without Borders, and it has like all these like random blocks. So you look at it and think, oh, what's going on here? But you're at a certain point, and it spells out the word truth. I
Very profound.
can't imagine how long it must have taken to have built that, but kudos to them. Probably kilometers long in Minecraft measurements. Yeah. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching this. Going from point to point to point, trotting across all these different points. But thanks for tuning in with us. Thank you, Denholm, for joining us on
Thank you.
this one. And this is Fine Cut Podcast signing off.